What's your name?
Internet darling.
Thanks for the plug!
Monroe versus the podcast, and we're here to be
You cannot give me any advice.
Kept you waiting.
Here we go again. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good.
Shut.
We live inside a dream.
And it's just stupid that I'm in this world.
Cluck a chemo, fool, buzz cut, moron.
Perfect.
Because it's so much fun, Jan. Get it?
Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Monroe. How you guys doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Today, I have filmmaker Josh Segundo on the podcast. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Superman. From one fellow mommy to another, I was really elated to see that you were a big YMH fan. And tell me about that experience working with them. That must have been like an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, man. I got a text message from a gaffer in town who's a fellow mommy as well. And he just sent me all caps, "Are you available this day?" And I was like, yes. And he goes, "Okay, hold it." And everything's all in all caps. And, you know, that's how I get jobs, right? It's all just like referrals like that. So I was like, why are you freaking out like this? And he's like, "It's for the YMH Live." And I was like, oh, I don't care if they pay me nothing. I am there. I will do it for sure. But yeah, I mean, immediately I showed up and in my head, I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna I cannot fanboy. I cannot do anything. And then we shot an edgy sketch. It was par for the course of the show. We got kicked out of the first location because of it.
Nice.
And then we got to the second location, and Christina was talking to one of the sound people, and the sound person was not familiar with the show, so he was super confused when he got to set and he saw what we were shooting. And then she's trying to talk to him, and she's like, "Oh, this isn't who we are, yada yada yada." Just being like, our producer, he's in on the joke. Like, this is a running joke that we've been doing for years. And I kind of nudged my way into the conversation, and she was trying to tell me this isn't as bad as you might think it is. And I was like, oh no, you don't get it. Like, I'm a fan. Like, this is not an issue for me. Like, I totally get the joke. So she hugged me, and I just kind of melted. Like, I could not, I didn't even hug her back. Like, that's how it was. I just kind of stood there.
Wow.
She was super nice. Tom is very much all business, which was cool. I think at the time he was doing that I'm Coming Everywhere tour, so it was like he was there for less than everybody else, but it was just he had a million other things to do. But I briefly talked to him. I talked to Christina more than Tom for sure. But all of the people were there, all the booth people. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, they were super nice. All of them were super sweet. It's nice to meet people that you work with and them be like the sweetest people.
Dude, that's so cool. I'm secretly jealous. That is like the raddest thing. What did you get out of it? Like on a technical standpoint, like what was a lesson that you learned? I'm curious, if any. I think in there I kind of learned my limits as far as what I'm willing to do for people that I really enjoy. I think the PA had to run off to go get lunch, and we needed to shoot a scene outside, and there was leaves, and I was just like, yep, I just picked up a broom and started sweeping. Nice.
And it's
Very
just
cool.
I don't care. Nothing is under my I was the grip on the job, but nothing is under me. I'll fucking do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just doing that.
I like hearing that. Gosh, where do we go from here? You like that?
Yeah,
you just like that?
It's good. That's good. Yeah.
Dude, when I saw that you were coming out with a movie, I got super excited. I was a fan of Lucidity, for those that just want to test me on my Josh Segundo, fandom. Yeah, I was a big fan of that. I thought it was really cool. I saw all your influences at the time. How old were you when you made Lucidity?
18.
18-year-old kid, man. I mean, I wasn't doing shit at 18, so I'm still impressed by that. But where do we go? I've been a stalker, and I've been following you on your, I guess, kind of almost quasi press tour.
And so I understand the story of like you moving with your wife when the pandemic sort of was in full effect. You were doing DoorDash. You were basically living almost a Travis Bickle life. The interactions that you were having. I heard you on your Instagram Live were talking about you saw a homeless man like taking a shit at a store.
Yeah, that was super weird.
That's got to be weird, right? So it sounds like these experiences created like a sort of tapestry for you. And that's sort of where this film, maybe the sense of humor or the absurdism comes from. Tell me more about where do we go and how people can support that right now.
Yeah, so we have a Seed and Spark running. I think we have about 17 days still on the campaign. So you can go to Seed and Spark, where do we go, and, read our story. We have a bunch of our visual influences there, who we have as far as our team, a pitch video as far as me detailing, hopefully not too vaguely about what this means to me. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely a very vulnerable piece for me because I'm talking about a time that I was, very, very broke, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. I was like, going out doing DoorDash, making maybe $100 a day, and having like $2-3 after I pay rent, stuff like that. It's rough, and I think coming from I did service industry for 9 years, and it was fine. I paid my bills. So I think that was kind of the shock, was more of like, I was fine living in San Antonio, having a job. I wasn't struggling. Like I had more than enough to, to go out and have a nice leisure time. I actually remember when the pandemic hit, I was talking to one of my buddies who's like a big finance guy, and he was like, "Are you good, man? Because I know you're a waiter." And I was like, "Oh no, I have money saved up." I was like, this 2 weeks thing, or, a couple months thing is going to be a breeze. I'm going to have some time to write and, hang out or whatever. But, that quickly went away. So it just kind of forced me into a spot that I'd never experienced. I mean, I didn't grow up crazy rich or anything, but my parents never let us see them struggling too much. So
yeah, I see.
So it was shocking. And then being
would you call it almost, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's well documented. My journey from the Valley to Austin was traumatic. That's the word I would use. Would you use that word as well?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I had the support of my wife, fiance at the time.
It's more of like a culture shock.
Yeah, I think it was more of like shock in the sense of me feeling inept.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, more in like I said, like I moved from the Valley to San Antonio, and I think I did 2 shorts while I was there. One we shot I drove down to shoot it in the Valley, and then the second one in the Valley. In San Antonio. But my primary source of income was, serving and bartending. So like that was fine. Like I was self-sufficient. I wasn't asking my parents for funds. I wasn't doing anything like that. I was perfectly fine. And I think right before the pandemic hit, I did like 1 or 2 PA jobs and that I was traveling for, which is really what I wanted to do. So, I mean, if the pandemic never happened, I probably would still be on that track. But I think the pandemic really made me go sink lower and really like view myself. And I think I think many people probably have quarter life crises, and I turned 25 in 2020. So I kind of had like a weird, all that time that you have with yourself, you kind of you're trying to, self-reflect. I kind of went through a weird thing of like, do I even like this? Why do I want to be a filmmaker? Like, is this because of me, or is this because somebody inspired me at a certain point and I'm just kind of holding on to that? Or, there was a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I fucking love it. And, it's been a rough 3 years. I think the last 2 I've been working, professionally in film. So, but, getting there, it was pretty rough, but
yeah,
I wouldn't say that I was like traumatic, because I think, I'm incredibly blessed to have parents who were there to help me if I were to ask, but I didn't really want to because I was 25, 26, and it's like it's time. Like I can't be dependent. And then my wife is gracious, and I love her a lot, and she really stuck it out, and we're doing good as far as like bills and stuff go. I'm now paying it with filmmaking and stuff. It's pretty great.
What do you think about Seed and Spark as an independent lever model to use for financing films? Like, what are your thoughts on that? It seems kind of, have you ever done that before? And if not, what inspired you to produce a film that way?
Through Seed and Spark?
Yes.
I mean, I've always kind of done like the budget stuff when it comes to shorts, and this one I really want it to be higher production value. I want to be able to pay crew, pay the actors, feed them correctly, have the locations that that we need. Which for this, it's kind of these characters running around a city, so there's multiple locations, which makes it a little difficult to kind of contain it into one space. There's a lot of moving parts, so that's kind of, I feel like I kind of needed to crowdfund this because funds run out quickly, and I want to see it the way that I see it in my head, and I want to make it right, and I want to be able to give people the experience of I don't want to cop out on the film by getting a subpar product.
100%. Yeah, that's the best intention right there, is to produce the best product possible, for sure. I like that. I want to ask you a few tough questions, and if you don't like these, we can cut them out. Just so you know. Crowdfunding. Did you already have a crowd in place that you felt would be able to propel the movie forward?
To an extent, I have family members who could help out. I have some close friends who have donated. I have really nice people who I've been friends with since like middle school. That was just like wild. I think one of my 7th grade best friend, Ralph, sent like $150, and I was like, geez, dude, like, thank you. There's a few people that, not to say I'm surprised by, but it's like, oh, I've had a couple conversations with you, and you donated this much, or I'm not really trying to put like such a big emphasis on the amount, but it's just like any amount is amazing. I met a guy at Barnes and Noble here in Austin. It was like the Criterion sale, and we were just perusing movies. We were the only 2 guys in the section, and we just started talking. Met him one time, and he donated to the thing, and it's just like, geez, thank you.
That's amazing. Is Seed and Spark like Kickstarter in that it's all or nothing, or is it like Indiegogo with, if you raise 4/5 of the project's funds that's what you can walk away with? So
I think the big difference between Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Seed and Spark is that the other ones take a big chunk out of the funds that are raised. And Seed and Spark is like, it's not really like it's all or nothing. It's like 80% or nothing. So,
okay.
Yeah. So we need to hit that 80% threshold.
So I'm dumb when it comes to math. What is 80% of 12K?
9,600.
We got to hit that. So if the listeners are watching right now, anything is appreciated. Visit Josh Segundo at Josh_2. The link's in his bio. On Instagram, so you can get directed to where do we go, the Seed and Spark mission. I definitely want to help funding that however we can. We're at 19% right now, so literally anything would help. The link's also going to be in the show notes below, so if you're watching this on YouTube, look in the description, you'll see it. You can't miss it. So yeah,
it's Josh_2, not the second.
Second. My mistake. Thanks for clearing that up. I have a list of questions here that, as a fanboy, I cannot wait to get into. What was the moment, if there was one moment, maybe it was an aggregation, but What was the moment where you realized you were a filmmaker?
I think I fell into it really late. I mean, I loved going to the movies as a kid. It was my favorite thing to do. But I don't really think I ever really put two and two together. And I would go to the movies a lot with my parents, but my parents would do this thing where it was like 7 o'clock on a Monday. Let's go to movie 6 in McAllen because it's the dollar movie. And whatever lined up with us time wise, that's what we'd watch. It was never like, I want to see this movie because this actor's in it, or I saw this trailer. It was never that. Which now I'm thinking back on it, it's so ridiculous. Like we would just show up and watch like anything. Like that's weird. So there was a million movies that I'd just never seen. And one of my friends, Yulisa, her dad would collect movies. And I think we were at school one day and she was like, oh, you've never seen It? And I was like, no, I never got around to it. She's like, you need to watch it. And I was like, okay, I guess. So I went and I looked it up on YouTube. It was there. Somebody I don't know, put it up illegally. So I saw it on YouTube, and then the same channel had all of Stephen King's movies, or movies based on Stephen King novels, like
Christine, things of that nature.
Christine, Misery, Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption. So I saw all of these movies on YouTube in my parents' TV room. And I think it was when I saw the Shawshank Redemption, and I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like that movie made me feel feelings that I'd never felt from a movie ever. It's a great movie. But I would say it was just, I don't know if that was necessarily the moment where I was like, I'm a filmmaker, but it was the moment where I fell in love with film. And it was the moment where I started like looking up IMDb, like what's on the top, 250 or whatever. And then I would just go to Barnes and Noble and just buy stacks. And then just watch them. Like I would double feature things like my junior and senior year of high school. I would just double feature every night. And then like things that didn't make sense because I didn't know any better. I think I said like last night on my live, like I saw Doctor Strangelove and Taxi Driver.
Doctor Strangelove and Taxi Driver in the same day? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, in the same day. For no reason. They don't make sense together, really. I mean, I guess they're both kind of vaguely war movies, but that's about the most that they make sense to each other. But yeah, I was just watching shit together. But I loved it.
How do you come up with your ideas?
Fear.
What are you afraid of?
I think my own insecurities. I think that's definitely what I write from. My last film, I don't know if you saw it, was called Dawn, and it's
on YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
Yeah, I checked it out.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's about this dad who's taking his daughter out to hunt for the first time. And it's like a post-apocalyptic thing. And they end up hunting people. And the dad basically forces her to have her first kill and force her to basically grow up. And I was asked, like, why did you make this? And I was like, oh, this is just like how I thought about I needed to kill the child in me. I needed to grow up. Which is a weird way to kind of express that. But yeah, that's what I was feeling at the time. I was just like, oh, I just moved from my hometown. I need to fend for myself. I need to, do what I need to be an adult. And that was like the last thing that I wrote and directed that I was very, very passionate for. And, it's been 5 years since I made that. And, I feel like not that I had my shit figured out at the time when I was living in San Antonio, because I was still bartending. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, but I was comfortable in the sense that I could, afford things and, live my life comfortably. I didn't feel that fire under my ass, if that makes sense. And I think the pandemic really sparked it for me again.
What is your biggest failure as a filmmaker?
Honestly, it's screening Lucidity.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I never wanted to screen it. If you remember correctly, I made that, and then I never wanted to release it. because I was embarrassed by it. In my head, I didn't know what I was doing at the time at all. And I made a short film that was 30 minutes long. It's very quiet. A bunch of copyright claims all over it. I just show you watching The Shining for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. It's so weird. I haven't seen it since that day, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Armando really like, I wouldn't say he pressured me, but he was really big on like, we need to screen this. Like, we need to screen this. And I think that's because he was very inspired by you having done it with your films. And I was like, all right, fine. Like, we'll do it. And I think throughout both screenings, because we've played them back to back, I was just staring at the floor the whole time. And I just knew that it wasn't good. I think I knew that. And I feel bad that I charged people and that people came out, and I saw people come dressed up. They came in like a suit. And I just knew, like, even in the smallest scale of me being in my hometown, like, the stakes are super low. But for me, that was just like, I knew it wasn't ready. And impressions are everything. I kind of feel like I lost a good amount of people. Because I think people were just like, yeah, like, this is not good. And I knew it. And I think I just presented something that I knew was not baked. And I was embarrassed. But, it is what it is.
Thank you for answering that and being as honest as you were. I don't see it as that, as a patron, but I find it deeply fascinating. Also, I'm a big believer in failing and testing in public. That's something that I think filmmakers need to do more. I'll throw content creators in there, vloggers, fucking people making reels, whatever. Like, I think putting the cart before the horse and failing in public is the way we learn. It's the way we grow. It's how we grow up, I think, in a lot of ways. So I have a lot of respect for you personally, even though it's a big, sounds like it's an L for you, but I look at it as a W. I really do. I know it's just one person's perspective. I took my entire family to see it, and I didn't feel like I wanted my money back, and I had already seen the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm from Donna, so I went from Donna to Mission, and I wanted to support Chappelle. And so I don't look at it as a failure, but I respect where you come from for sure, because I know what it feels like to make a movie sort of in vain and then screen it and it not be what you want it to be. I know how that feels. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, are you talking about Seven Hands? Because I was there for that.
Yeah, Seven Hands was a movie that day 2 in filming, I was dead inside. I did not love this making that movie. I didn't enjoy making it. I didn't enjoy editing it. I didn't enjoy screening it. It was like delivering a stillborn baby.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what is your greatest success as a filmmaker?
I think my greatest success is paying the bills with it. It makes me that not to say that it's about money, but I think you work really hard to work on your craft, to do this this thing that you love, and I've learned more in the last 2 years about filmmaking than I have. I've been doing this, amateurly since 2011, 2012, maybe. So, I learned more in the last 2 years than the previous 12 or the previous 10. So,
yeah. And
it's just getting out there and working, and I think working on other people's things. And I think that was, so after Lucidity, I felt horrible. I didn't work on anything for about 3 years. And then I jumped on sets with Wild Fox Films, which is now not a thing. But I jumped on sets for them doing anything, running sound. I ended up doing a lot of their lighting stuff. I ran camera for a couple other shorts, but I learned a lot. I learned how to run audio. I learned how to essentially, shoot to edit, if that makes sense, like understanding a shot list, locations, all of that stuff. So I learned a lot with that. And then that's kind of where I feel like I was into Dawn. Like the making of Dawn was such a nightmare because I was so ill prepared. Like, like getting people's, food orders was bad. We were out in the middle of nowhere. We forgot props, and that was on me that I just didn't prep for it. Just things like that. Luckily, it was like a really small crew, a really simple-ish story. It wasn't like nothing was too complex, so everything kind of worked out. But with this one, I am overly prepared, if that makes sense. Like I'm going out of my way to make sure that there's going to be hiccups. That's going to happen. But I'm going out of my way to avoid as many as I can. And I think I learned that through working on other people's sets, working on professional sets here in Austin. Like I've been a grip and gaffer for the last 2 years, so I know that the truck, the grip truck needs to land somewhere. We need to be able to unload it. Hair and makeup. My wife has done a lot of our hair and makeup stuff for the last couple shorts. She needs a space. There's been a couple shorts where she's done it out of a car. That's not comfortable for anybody. So stuff like that. Restrooms, highly important. Parking, people getting fed. It's just a lot of logistical things that I'm definitely trying to get ahead of.
I love that. Paying your bills with art money, with film money, is definitely something to be very proud of. So I'm proud of you. That's excellent. That's amazing. That's a goal for a lot of people, for sure. And I know people that have been in the game for a long time that can't say that. So kudos to you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received as a filmmaker?
Just get over your ego. I think that's really it. Like,
where did you learn that from?
Myself, I think. I think I just kind of actually sat with myself for a little bit and understood that I'm not nearly as good as I thought I was. And I think I don't know why. I don't know where that ego came from immediately. It's like I've seen 100 great movies. I know what I'm doing. And like that's silly. And I think being able to watch my things reflect and just go like, you don't know what you're doing. And you need to learn. And you need to stop being a pompous ass. I think that's really it. I think everyone has an ego, but I think a big goal of mine for the last few years, and I mean years as in like since 2015, 2016 probably, has just been like kill that ego. And I think it was just working with other people. I think learning and getting involved with Wild Fox Films and learning that they were better than me, and not in a like mean way. I was able to just be honest with myself and be like, they know what they're doing and you really don't. Shut up and listen. And I think I probably have gotten a lot of good recommendations in Austin based on that type of mentality of I'm not going on another person's set going, you should do it this way. I go on and I do my job and I try to do the best that I can. If I have an idea, I go either to the gaffer or to the DP, but I don't jump to the director. You know what I mean? Like there's a line of command. And I think it's more of just like checking your ego. And sometimes, they're going to do things a certain way and that's perfectly fine. It's not your job to worry about that.
Yeah. What's advice you wish filmmakers would take?
Like in general or like entry level filmmakers?
Let's do entry level filmmakers and then in general.
If you're starting out, work for other people. You're going to learn a lot by understanding their mistakes, understanding what they do right, and it's not going to cost you a dime. You learn so much more by being on set than you're ever going to learn on YouTube. You know, you can watch. I'm not going to name any YouTubers, but you can watch, you know, a million.
Name YouTubers. Name YouTubers.
I don't know, like Gerald Undone. Like, what is this guy doing? He's just doing camera tests in his house in a controlled environment. Not to say he doesn't know what he's talking about, but you know what I mean. Like, not everybody's shooting in a studio, like things like that. It's just you want to listen to people who are literally out there, who are actually doing it, and yeah, you're not going to learn enough by being on YouTube, and the same thing goes for film school. I mean, you're gonna get out as much as you put in, and I'm not anti film school, but you know, I think that's really what it is. But you're just going to learn the most by getting on other people's sets. There's no other way. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And also, don't be that guy who's like, or person. Sorry, don't mean to make it I know it's already a pretty male driven industry, but don't be the person who is who's going to say, I'm only going to direct. I think that's silly. I think it's silly because you don't know what you're doing, and you're not gonna learn how to direct by being at home and watching what Tarantino did or watching what Paul Thomas Anderson did. You're not. That's not how it works. You have to be the leader of the whole crew. You're not gonna learn that by watching what fucking Francis Ford Coppola did in the Philippines. That's not how that works.
What would be advice you wish filmmakers would take, just more generally, outside of entry level?
Be vulnerable. Write about something that actually means something for you. Not to say that, if you're a concept writer or you do anything just based on fun ideas. Like, fun is great. I love fun. Like Fast and the Furious, they're superheroes. That's fun. Like, it's so dumb, but I love it. But even in something like that, there's a clear theme of family and there's a love that clearly the filmmaker's putting into it. And I think it's silly to just be like, that's stupid. So just be vulnerable, and actually try to make something that means something to you. It doesn't have to mean something to everybody, but just try to fucking do things,
Who are your greatest influences, and who do you especially want to highlight?
As far as like filmmakers that I look up to?
Yes.
I mean, I think I wear my cards pretty obvious. I don't think I really try to like emulate this person at all, but I am a massive Kubrick fan. Like, Kubrick is my favorite, just by the sense of preparation. And how much he knew what was happening before going into it. And I love that preparation. And I would say, even not necessarily filmmakers, another person that I admire for the same exact reason is Peyton Manning. I'm a huge football fan. And he has a great quote that I love that he said, you might be stronger than me or faster, had a better arm, but you will never out-prepare me. And I love that. I love that quote so much. I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan for the way that he would just prepare for every single game. And Kubrick is the same in that sense, that he knew every single pinpoint of where any soldier was going to be in Spartacus. It's ridiculous, but I love it. It's so overly done, and not to say that that's how it has to be, because I love spontaneity, but I think I just really love that level of preparation.
So the listeners, they're big fans of Josh Segundo, and so they knew you were going to say Kubrick. So if you had to highlight someone else, throw another filmmaker a bone, who would that be?
Let's see. I'll go contemporary. I love Derek Cianfrance.
Me too. Me too. I'm glad you said him. He does not get enough love.
Yeah, I love Derek Cianfrance.
Did you see? I call it the Sad Mark Ruffalo show. Did you watch? That?
It's true.
Yeah,
amazing. I actually was not interested in that show at all until I saw that Derek Cianfrance was attached. One of the best shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. He's. I think Place Beyond the Pines is like just as good as any other film that's ever been made.
Place Beyond the Pines. I watched that about 2 weeks ago. That movie makes me feel things that a lot of other movies haven't. I think that might be my favorite movie of the 2010s.
I'm getting chills. It's in my top 10 for sure of the 2010s. I saw that was the first movie I saw the night my daughter was born. I opened up my laptop and I watched Place Beyond the Pines and I just cried. Yeah, that's a very special movie.
Yeah,
what are some of your favorite movies, and what's an underrated movie you want to point to?
Yeah, so my favorite movie of all time is 2001. I think that's like the best movie ever made in a technical sense, in a scope sense. I've seen it. I've seen it so many times that I now only watch it in theaters. Like I just reserve it for theaters, and I think I might start doing that with the next two that I'm about to name. Because I just saw it in theaters, and this is probably my number 2 favorite movie of all time. That being Apocalypse Now, and then Blade Runner. Though I love those movies, and I think what's interesting is that those are some of the earlier movies that I saw when I was getting into film. And then I jumped onto the international stuff: Tarkovsky, Bergman, Godard, Truffaut, Kiarostami, Kurosawa, all of these amazing filmmakers that I love. And then I kind of just like found my way back to American film, and they're incredible. Fargo's another one. Like, it's great Fargo weather right now, and yeah, I love films like that. This is a movie that I would say, Wim Wenders is so good. I'm looking at Paris, Texas right now on my shelf. And Wong Kar-wai is also amazing. Where is it? There's... I saw Scorsese talk about this when he was talking about Polish films, and this is my favorite international film. It's called Ashes and Diamonds. It is a story about these two assassins who are in a small Polish town the day World War II ends. I don't think they necessarily say it's World War II, but it is. And then a person of the dictator's, Hitler's party, goes back to his small Polish town. So they are waiting for him to arrive to assassinate him. And in the course of their time there, they one of the assassins meets a bartender who he immediately gets interested in, and he must decide if he wants to kill and keep running, or stay in that town with that lady.
Wow, what a great plot! Amazing setup. That sounds cool. It's on Criterion if we wanted to check it out, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's on HBO Max as well. If anyone wants to see it.
Oh, good.
But
Good.
Polish. It's like I said, one of my favorite movies. I saw it when I was in college, and then I recently rewatched it maybe about a year ago, and I was like, it's just as good as I remember it. But that's not a super. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it nearly as much, and that's something that I would definitely highlight.
I love it. A movie that you make. I want to talk about the afterlife. Where does it live, and what is the shelf life going to be for your picture? I'm very curious. Like, where do we go? Where do we go?
I mean, I want to put it in as many festivals as I can. I don't understand. Is that the question you're asking? Like how far is it going?
What's the shelf life? Like, where do movies go nowadays? Like, what? This is a conundrum that I struggle with. If it was up to me personally, Monroe, the producer, I'd put it on Vimeo in front of a paywall and try to make the movie's money back. I think that's what I would do, but I'm not suggesting that. I would never offer that advice, but where do pictures go nowadays? Short film. Because this is a short film, right? Yeah. So, we just produced a short film with friend of the show, J.R. Molina. It's going through its festival route. We got picked up for a festival for Prison City. We're going there in a couple of weeks. And it's our first time we've ever not won, but have entered a film festival. So I want to see it kind of go that route, see where it goes. And then maybe I'll put it up on Patreon. I mean, I don't really know where movies go. So I'm curious to ask a fellow filmmaker.
Yeah. I mean, I think personally, since it's being crowdfunded, I want to give it to the people for free. And I want to just put it out there. Probably not on YouTube, probably on Vimeo, just because the picture quality is simply better. Maybe on Amazon Prime for free. I know HBO Max has you can enter your film to get on there. I think it's like a temporary thing, but I don't know how much you'd have to. I don't know if you need to pay or what the criteria for getting your short film on HBO Max is, but I want to get as many eyes as I can on it, because it's a very important story for me, and I think the struggle of it is pretty universal, and I think I really want to showcase that times are tough for a lot of people, and that we should look. Hopefully, in a few years, I look back on it with fond memory.
Oh gosh, I had a question. In one word, where do we go? What is it about to you?
Perseverance.
That's lovely, man. That's definitely a big humanizing theme to put and localize all your concerted efforts into, is about perseverance. Like, now's the time that we should be having those conversations, I encourage the listeners and people who are watching this on YouTube. This will be out everywhere, this podcast, wherever people listen to pods, and it's going to be on YouTube as well. I encourage you to at least check out the Where Do We Go Seed and Spark page. Donate $1, donate $5. It's a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good cause. It was a tremendous pitch video. I thought it was really well done and really well made. And you get to see the influences that are inspiring you and inspiring the picture, which I love these influences as well. There's what do they call it in pre-production? Shot boards, or what do they call it? Storyboards. And you get to see that in the movie. You get to kind of see where your money's going to, and it's really cool. So I want to encourage people to check that out and donate what they can. I know times are tough, but let's be honest, we're Americans. We waste money on dumb shit. So why not support the arts? Support your local filmmakers, especially if you're in the Austin, Cedar Park, Round Rock, Leander area. Please do so. Any last words, Josh? Something to leave the listeners, to leave the people, just maybe one last plea for the movie. I mean, I think that's why we're here. But if there's anything else, I definitely want you to get it in.
I would definitely say, I fully understand it if pledging is not entirely possible, but I would just love a share, or anybody's time to just kind of check it out. You could, if anything, just look at the website. I don't really necessarily, like you said, times are tough, and I don't necessarily want anybody to not be able to do it. So I would just love a moment of everyone's time.
That's a lot. I like that, man. And I think you deserve that. Thank you so much for coming on my show. I'm glad we were able to do this. It worked out. I wanted to record this where I live, which is outside of Austin and Leander, a suburb. But I just got rid of my office. I consolidated into a smaller office, so I wouldn't have been able to record. Thank you for taking time out of your day to record with me one-on-one like this. I love this. We'll do another one when the movie's finished to promote it.
Let's do it.
Fucking A. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Keep a force field around your heart. Support the cause. Support Where Do We Go on the Seed and Spark. Link down below. And we'll see you guys on the next podcast.